Hi guys, welcome to news18.com. I am Chirag Sehgal and our guest today is the Bollywood actor Kunal Kemmu, who will be next seen in Abhay season 3. Hi Kunal, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Chirag.
How similar or how different is Kunal from Abhay?
Oh, he's completely different, and I think that's why I love playing Abhay because he's so different from who I am. I am more of somebody who likes to, if in a gathering, I'm the guy who makes people laugh,
Yeah.
and I'm happy mostly, and I'm smiling mostly, and just on that front, Abhay is completely different because rarely will you see Abhay smiling. In fact, even
Yeah.
when I'm shooting for him, if there is a scene where there is a smile, everybody in the unit goes, "Hey, smile, smile! Finally, this is a nice scene. We'll remember it because Abhay smiled." And Abhay is not somebody who will crack jokes or entertain even behavior like that. So just on those fronts, and also the kind of life that he lives. I mean, on a daily basis, he's uh, at crime scenes, witnessing gory, horrific things and trying to balance a life that is so different from the one that I have. But I think as an actor, that's what is more intriguing and exciting to, get out of your so-called comfort zone and try to find things that are not there within yourself.
But on that note, only kabhi aisa hua hai while you're shooting for say some intense scene and suddenly there's a smile on your face, which is not supposed to be there, but then the Kunal comes out smiling.
I'm very thankful that doesn't happen. Otherwise, I wouldn't have a job today, and I wouldn't be an actor. But those giggles happen generally. Those are infectious things. They never happen by yourself, but it does happen.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you're with co-actors, and maybe it's something that you were talking just before you started doing the scene, and while
True.
you're in the middle of the scene, a person looks at you with a similar reaction, and it triggers something else. And those giggles happen. They've happened. They happen everywhere. They happen on every set. And the most scariest part about them is that sometimes they don't settle down, because
Yeah.
there are times where you can, oh, I'm sorry, let's do one more, laugh again, oh, I'm sorry, let's do one more, laugh again, and then finally get it. But then there are times where you're just stuck, because by the time you get a hold of this, your co-actor lets go, and then sometimes you have to take a break for like half an hour and then come back and do it again.
How do you respond to people who say the show Abhay is very similar to, say, television shows like CID or Crime Patrol?
Which is fine. I'm saying that, see, genres are very similar. Like it's
Yeah.
like saying every horror film is the same horror film, because
Yeah.
a ghost is a ghost, and every love story is a love story because a boy falls in love with a girl. So it's fine. I'm saying genre wise they are similar, and investing. In fact, I would on the other hand say it's so different from CIDs and all of that, because in this show it was, I think, in India at least, it was the first one where it's not about finding out who did the crime from the audience perspective, because the audience begins the show watching the crime and the criminal.
Yeah.
It's more about how does Abhay find out that this is the person, and how does he get to them. So it's more about, it's called the inverted investigative format of show. So it is different, but I'm saying it's still fine, because it's the best way to make somebody understand in one line, because the reference is so straight. So you're like, CID or Crime Patrol, like how it's about crimes, this is also like that, but it's different and it's darker.
Yeah.
So I'm not bothered by the comparisons, because at the end of the day, they're all different shows. Even the Crime Patrol is different from a CID.
Yeah. How can we not talk about Soha and Inaaya while talking to you? And your social media is flooded with adorable posts for both of them. Do you and Soha divide duties as far as upbringing Inaaya is concerned?
Of course, I think that's how parenting works, and that's how any partnership works. But I have to confess that I think that she does most of the heavy lifting, and I'm just there for the good stuff, let's say, the easier stuff. But then there are times when, if she has to work and she's away, then I have to do all of that. I do enjoy doing all of that, but I think Soha also enjoys it a lot more than I do. I really enjoy spoiling her a little bit. Like if it's ice creams or lollipops or just fun stuff, and go out and do something. But when it comes, or reading her books, I actually like to tell her stories on my own. But when she wants to read books and look at pictures, so I was better doing that.
But then with the COVID-19 pandemic also and student like children not going to school, did it become altogether more difficult for parents also to teach kids everything at home?
Well, it'll be different for different age groups. Luckily for Inaya, she was a year and a half or two when the pandemic hit. She's 4 now, so now physical school started. She started going. So she was too young, but I think it was also a blessing in disguise in a lot of ways, because at that age, just to have the ability to have both the parents there from both the child's perspective and also the parents' perspective, it gave us so much time to spend time with each other and see those formative years of our child kind of in front of us, and gave us an opportunity to also look within and teach her whatever we could in whatever way, and do a lot of those activities which anyways people are doing. And like I said, Soha really is very good at doing all of that, and she really kind of enjoys doing that. So sometimes I would also get very excited about the activities that she had planned, because I would also
Yeah.
become a part of them.
Is Soha a better wife or a better mother?
I think that's an unfair comparison, and I wouldn't dare to take away from either of this. I think she's a wonderful woman who's playing so many roles in her
Yeah.
life so well. I think even more than a wife, or she's a friend of mine, and I love that the fact that she not only is a wife, she's a friend, is a mother, is an actor. She's a working mother, and she's really balanced it out really well, and I'm very proud of her, and I really respect her for that.
Also, during the lockdown, we saw how a number of parents came up with these no phone policy for their children, no social media. Did you guys also follow something similar?
She's too young to have a phone right now, so we didn't have that problem. Right now, our things was avoiding screen time. But anyways, like I said, she was so young that at that time they anyways don't have screen time, so we didn't have these problems. I think it must have been tougher for parents whose kids are like preteens, like 10, 11, because they have so much energy, and for them it's a big thing that life kind of gets taken away. Where they want to go burn off their energy, play. They have activities and a routine set which is disturbed. For Inaya and kids of that age, the routine was still being introduced to them.
We also know your love for bikes and bike rides, whether it is Ladakh or somewhere else. You have traveled all of it by bike. But how often do you and Soha go on bike rides?
It's a weird thing. I mean, she loves very rarely. Let me just answer that question by saying, also, I'm somebody who likes to ride my bike alone for
Yeah.
multiple reasons. Also, one of them being that I want to be responsible, because it is slightly risky to kind of ride a bike, right? So I want to be responsible for myself. Sometimes I feel very nervous for a pillion, because
Yeah.
if I make a mistake, it shouldn't kind of bother somebody. Not saying that that's the only block, but I think my love for bikes is way more than Soha's love for bikes. But every once in a while, she'd be like, generally when I get a new bike, or I'm
Yeah.
always talking about it, she'll be like, "Oh, let's just go for a ride." So then we'll go for a quick ride and come back. But Soha it doesn't have much requirement for adrenaline. Like, she doesn't like roller coasters, and she's not somebody who'd be like, "I want to go skydiving." She likes to be. She's very happy reading a book and being by the beach.
So you guys are poles apart in that way.
And I think the balance is correct.
Yeah.
We're very different but very similar on the things that kind of bring us together, and I think that's a good balancing factor in our lives.
And your social media is also flooded with pictures and videos from gyms. We want to know what your daily fitness routine is like.
It keeps changing, because sometimes, mostly for actors, you have to keep a physicality which kind of does justice and is in sync with the characters that you're playing.
Yeah.
So that keeps changing, and similarly my workout regime keeps changing, but I like to just do some kind of a workout, whether it's, and like I said, it keeps changing. So, like, sometimes I'll do yoga, but that doesn't mean I'm a master at
Right.
it. Gym has always been a part of it, because that's something that has become a habit since I was 16. So now whether I go and lift heavy weights or I lift lighter weights and do more repetitions, I just like to keep that as a habit, so that habit doesn't break. But even then, I think there is a saturation that comes, and satiety that you hit. So there'll be times that I'll work out for, like, let's say for 6 7 months I've been working out for example, for Malang,
Yeah.
and then I just didn't do anything for a month, no kind of workouts, and I was just like lazing around and doing
Yeah.
nothing. And then I started doing a little bit of yoga, and then I got back into gymming again. Or then I'll just take off on a bike, or I'll go diving, or I'll do something like that.
Are you a diet conscious person in that way?
A diet, I would love to, but that's like one of my weakness. I can't. I've really tried hard. Uh, so I will modify it a little bit, just to make myself believe that I'm doing something, but I've not been very successful at, man. But because if something delicious, tasty in front of me, I don't care. I'll work out a little more, but I'll eat that.